Welcome to A Fistful of Lenses, the place for real-world lens reviews. This video is part of the legendary Vintage Lens series. In this episode, we'll be reviewing the Olympus OM Zuiko 55mm f1.2, which is a super fast prime lens from the early 1970s, with a maximum aperture of f1.2. The lens weighs 310 grams, has a 55mm filter thread, and its optical construction is 7 elements in 6 groups. This lens was brought to market around the time of the Olympus OM1, which was a quality camera aimed at professional photographers. Initially, the camera was marketed as the M1, which Leica objected to because of its own M1 camera. So if you're lucky, you may come across early examples of Olympus lenses from this period which have the M system written on the barrel rather than the OM system. I've taken a series of images and video with this lens to explore the character, the strengths and the weaknesses of this 50-plus-year-old lens. And with that in mind, all the photography and video will be unedited straight out of camera. I'm reviewing this lens on full frame and APS-C to give us a rounded out view of how the lens performs. I'll be using a Canon 5D Mark III, a Sony a7R Mark III and a Fuji X-T1. So let's get started. So let's take a look at a few black and whites. The first two images are taken at Blackrock Sands in North Wales. And here we have a series of images taken at Athelney level crossing on the Somerset levels. It's perhaps unsurprising that the lens is capable of producing beautiful black and whites. Why is it unsurprising? Well, when the lens was manufactured, a large proportion of people used black and whites for the majority of their photos. But what about colours? The colours are simply beautiful. It can produce subtle pastels mixed with vibrant reds and lush greens and beautifully soft chalky blues. And that maximum aperture of f1.2 can be used creatively to make the ordinary and mundane subjects appear abstract, turning the everyday into the otherworldly. But of course, if you stop the lens down, it can show us a world that is very familiar and record the scene faithfully. So it's a bit like getting two lenses in one. It would make a very competent street photography lens, perfect for recording the hustle bustle of a busy street, with the added option of opening the lens up a few stops for creative purposes. I would consider the lens to be an art lens, where you can alter reality, give an otherworldly abstract look to your images, but then stop the lens down and it can record the scene faithfully. And the quality of the bokeh, it can produce beautiful bubble bokeh that I'm particularly fond of. Occasionally the bokeh can get a little busy and jittery, but then use the lens differently in a different circumstances and the bokeh can be smooth with a buttery, creamy quality. And if you'd like to use this lens for cinematography in all the character and qualities discussed, can be used to produce any style of footage you would like, from faithful to abstract. Your only limit really is your imagination, creativity, and vision. To conclude, the Olympus 55mm f1.2 is a lens I've enjoyed using, and I'm in no hurry to part with it. In fact, I'm looking forward to using the lens even more. And who knows, you might see me out there in the real world, snapping away happily with my Olympus OM Sweetgo 55mm f1.2. Bye for now.